Welcome back inside our Ustream coverage of National Signing Day 2011 here at GoUSFBulls.com. Focus much of the day on football as the national letters of intent continue to come in, but we shift gears here for a moment to talk USF softball with opening day about a week away, and joined now by the head coach of the team, Ken Eriksen. And Ken, before we go any further, want to wish you a congratulations. I haven't had the chance to talk to you on the Ken Eriksen show yet this week, but a very big honor for you becoming the head coach of the USA national softball team. Congratulations.
Well, thanks. You know, it's a lot of responsibility. There's a daunting task ahead of us. We've a lot of the players that have been there the last 8 years have decided to move on, and whether they're going to pursue the pro league or retire. So we have a whole new crop coming in. It's not unlike the turnover we had back in 2000, 2001. And we all know that the 2004 Olympic team was a very dominating team. So we know there's a lot of talent out in the United States, and now it's about going out there, identifying the players that are going to meet the philosophy of this next group of the next couple of years. And I'm sure we'll have no shortage of talent. The United States is one of the best in the world, so we're okay.
Well, you've been involved with softball at the highest level here in the United States for a number of years now, but can you tell me what the process was like in getting named head coach?
Well, you know, you've got to be involved, obviously, and you have to be relevant in the national scheme of things and have a kind of an education on what goes on internationally. So I think with all those things and the resume that I brought to the table this time, I think, you know, the selection committee was able to make, it was a tough decision, but they made one that's conservative in nature because of the like I said, the acumen that's going to be involved in helping the program continue at the highest level. I'm looking forward to it. As I said, the challenges are there, but the process itself is sometimes it's mysterious. You know, you got to be there, and I was fortunate enough to be at the right place at the right time, and the right time in my career. So it's worked out very well. But as everybody knows, you know, you don't get those things unless you get the approval from the boss, and the boss is my wife. And so when she said it's okay, then I put my hat in the ring. So it's worked out well.
Obviously, you've earned this, but is it still a little bit humbling when you found out you were the head coach?
You know, it's all part of the job of what we're trying to do, and what I've been involved with Team USA. I think the glitz and the glamour gets off that, you know, after a while. And so, yes, you're the head coach of the United States national softball team. It's the best team in the world. There's only one coach in that position, and there's only 15 spots on that team. So it's exhilarating. As I said, having been here before, I don't think the nervousness of that aspect it was when you were named an assistant coach early on. But you understand the responsibilities, or else you wouldn't be up for it.
Got a question here from inside the chat room. First of all, congratulations to you, Coach. RTB writes, how much will you being named the head coach of the U.S. national team help recruiting, coupled with the new facility here at USF?
Well, I think the new facility lends itself to saying that the University of South Florida is very serious about softball. It's very serious about women's athletics. That and the ability to attract the players over the last 3-4 years, we'll have a very, very competitive team on the field. The next few years will lend itself more to continuing to attract players than it will to be named USA coach. I think the USA coach stuff might put you out in the forefront, but it's what your team does on the field that's probably the most important thing.
Staying with facilities here, a question from Ken, who writes, how many times a day do you pinch yourself when you see the new stadium driving to work?
You know, it's kind of like, there it is. It's kind of like the golden ring is right there, and you're reaching for it, and it's so close right now. But I really haven't grabbed it yet because we haven't walked onto the ball field yet. You know, it's a tease right now. So pinching myself, I'm still like, come on, let's get this baby open on the 10th, and if it happens, it happens, and if it doesn't, we know we're going to be in there at some point. It's just I'm not to the pinching point yet. I'm still grabbing at the ring and haven't touched the metal yet, so it's close.
Let's talk a little bit about the personnel on the team as we're about a week away or so from opening day. Your pitching staff, we'll start with that. You've got high expectations for them. You're bringing back a number of talent. You've got a nice young southpaw freshman coming in who had a great fall schedule. I mean, what are your expectations out of the pitching staff this year?
Well, my expectation is very high. You bring back a lot of experience, and it's time for them to elevate their game to the next step, and the next step is national championship status. They've gone and they've experienced a lot of competition. They're very competitive pitchers. They're very smart, and they have a lot of ability. So now it's up to them to try to elevate their games completely, and I think they will, because they're, first you got to play, and then you can get comfortable, and then you can get good. And they're at that point right now where they've played, and 3 of them are very comfortable right now in the 2 juniors and the sophomore. The freshman now, she's going to get out there and play, and she's going to get comfortable quick because she's going to get a lot of innings. But the other 3, the veterans in Brittany Bowles and Capri Catalano and Lindsay Richardson, their expectations right from the get-go are going to be very high. I think Sarah Nevins will ease herself in, but she'll compete at a very high level midway through the season.
In terms of position players, where do we see some of the best competition right now for playing time across the field?
The outfield right now is got some competitive stuff. We've got 2 veterans or 3 veterans out there right now, and Janine Richardson, our center fielder, Gina Cafals, our right fielder, senior Kelly McCarver right now is part of the mix. But we have 2 freshmen, and they're both sisters. They're twin sisters, Ashley Goff and Courtney Goff, from right here in Tampa. They're competing for a starting position out there right now, and it wouldn't surprise me if they're in the lineup quite a bit. They compete at a high level in practice. And, they just love to play. They're smart. They're fast as lightning. So I think you're seeing a lot of competition out there in the outfield right now.
So the players are in place. You've got a veteran coaching staff returning to help guide the team this year. You get to the schedule, and you've really loaded up that non-conference part of the schedule. Of course, the Big East portion is going to be very competitive, but I think the last time I checked, 16 teams, maybe it's higher, played postseason softball a year ago. You've really made it a point to make the non-conference schedule as tough as it is in the country.
Yeah, not only were the 16 teams in postseason last year, but I think in the top 40 this year, you've got 18 teams on our schedule, 16, 18 teams in our 18, something like that, in the top 40 already in the preseason. So, yeah, it's competitive. We want to see the best pitching early. If we see the best pitching early, that's going to lend itself later on when we get down to conference play. But it's also going to get to the point that you're not seeing anything that will surprise you when you get to the NCAA postseason. And we make our schedule to get to the NCAA postseason, because if you get to the NCAA postseason, you have a chance to win the national championship. So that's what we do. The conference itself, it's tough just because you play each other year in and year out. And everybody knows each other's styles. They've seen each other's pitching staff for quite a bit. So conference plays, it's like basketball in a Big East. Every given night you're going to have an opportunity to knock somebody else off. So the conference is the same way in softball.
Softball team's also hosting more than a half-dozen tournaments here between the home venue and over in Clearwater as well. Just talk about the importance of getting those weekend tournaments and bringing in the challenge and certainly utilizing the warm weather here.
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head right there with the warm weather. It's easy for us to attract those type of things. I mean, I just drove down from New York to catch a flight in Baltimore yesterday because of the ice storm. I was trying to fly out of New York. If I didn't get out of there, I wouldn't be out of there until Friday. So to get in a car and drive 5-6 hours down to Baltimore just to get out says a lot about our ability to play ball outside here, take advantage of the warm weather and the sunshine. And we'll continue to do that. The first 6 weeks of our season, actually, we'll be in tournaments between Tampa and Clearwater. And it's great because you attract great teams to come down and play in that kind of stuff. And between the facilities here and what the city of Clearwater does for us over there at the E.C. Moore Complex, it lends itself to bringing a lot of great teams down here.
Coach, good luck this season. Again, congratulations on being named the head coach of the U.S. national softball team, and it's going to be fun moving into the new ballpark and seeing what you can do with the girls this year.
Absolutely, Ronan. I think it's going to be a very exciting year to come out and watch some great softball.
And reminder, Bulls fans, to be sure to watch the Ken Eriksen Show weekly on Bulls Vision right here at GoUSFBulls.com as we sit down with the head coach, his assistant coaches, and select players every week for the latest on USF softball. Much more coverage throughout the day here at GoUSFBulls.com, but in a moment we'll go back to the Bulls Vision tab in Jim Lauk as we continue to focus in on football here on National Signing Day 2011 at the University of South Florida.